Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Albuquerque. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Brian David Marshall.
Hey.
Friend fight and a respectful handshake to kick things off. Matt Sperling versus Paul Rietzl. This is for top 8.
Yeah. 6 players ahead of them have drawn their way into the top 8.
Uh-huh.
4 players are trying to squeeze into 2 more spots.
All right, so the winner of this will get one of those spots, and Matt Sperling has won the die roll and kicked things off with the Thoughtseize, where he's going to see Desecration Demon, Ultimate Price Mutavault, Swamp.
Is that an Erebos?
An Erebos, and another Mutavault, I believe, on the bottom there?
Yeah, it looks that way.
Okay. And Desecration Demon? I couldn't quite see what he took there. I think it was a demon, though. So, at any rate, neither of the key cards, the really important ones, which are Pack Rat. Ooh, and there it is. Turn 2 Pack Rat for Matt Sperling. That's a huge play in this matchup. Right now, Paul Rietzl needs to have drawn an answer.
Did he take Ultimate Price, perhaps?
If that's what he had in his hand, then he definitely would have taken it, and that would also have been bad news for Paul Rietzl, although I believe that Matt Sperling has a Temple of Deceit and not a Swamp, so there is going to be another 1-turn window here, another Ultimate Price there for Sperling. He's going to bottom it. So Paul Rietzl has a draw step to get rid of that Pack Rat. He finds a Thoughtseize. That's not going to do it, but maybe Hero's Downfall?
No, he's going to play Night Veil Spectre.
All right, this is going to make things incredibly difficult here.
It's going to buy him a turn here.
It will buy him a turn of attacks, but right now Sperling can really just start making tokens if he wants. If he's worried, he knows that Rietzl doesn't have a removal spell, and he can start trying to manage the board by, taking down Night Veil Spectres and such. So Sperling's actually has a fairly big decision point very early in this game where he needs to decide, am I going to just start casting stuff, or am I going to start making rats?
Yeah, just going to the wharf.
Yep. Under it.
Yeah.
But it's a really important decision point because if you do let Paul Rietzl untap here, he gets a draw step, maybe a hit with the Night Veil Spectre as well.
This is also what we saw in the match between Todd Anderson and Sam Black.
Okay.
Different, not the mirror, but the same thing where taking a turn off from making a rat.
Yeah.
Just let his opponent get out from under.
Yeah.
That inexorable tide of rats.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so Sperling decides to take the route where he's going to play a Night Veil Spectre instead of start making rats. This could potentially open the door for Rietzl to draw a removal spell in the interim, but
there's a Desecration Demon.
There it is. Sperling knows that it's unlikely, and he's willing to take the risk. And Desecration Demon for Paul Rietzl. All right, another Night Veil Spectre off the top for Matt Sperling. He's got a Hero's Downfall. He's also got another Spectre here. He has 2 Desecration Demons of his own and also a Gray Merchant, but he is stuck on 3 lands currently. So let's see what he comes up with for this turn. He's going to make a Night Veil Spectre number 2. Interesting. So
I think he's probably willing to just take a hit from the Desecration Demon here, untap, kill the Night Veil Spectre. Oh.
Ooh, that's not going to work anymore. Yeah, so Thoughtseize has the ability to take away that Hero's Downfall. We mentioned it a minute ago.
That's the card that's going here,
yeah,
right? No question.
Pair of Desecration Demons.
That Gray Merchant gets pretty
and
scary in a turn or 2.
It does.
You go land, and that's a big.
It's huge.
Big helping of damage.
It is.
We're technically life loss.
Right. Thank you. All the judges are like,
yeah, life loss, yeah.
I believe that Paul has also drawn his whip. No, it's still it's Erebos. Got it. All right, so you mentioned it. BDM, Hero's Downfall, hits the bin. And Paul is looking to get aggressive, and there it is. Attack with it. Take it. So And there's Erebos, so that's going to allow Paul Rietzl to stay ahead on cards potentially.
And also
is
means
this a land for Sperling? It is. He draws his swamp, so stage one complete of the.
Except he can't gain life anymore with his.
Oh, you're right. Completely shut off. He still, though, is going to be able to
he can still do
develop
life
his
loss,
board out.
too.
Yeah,
But he won't gain any life.
that's right. So, Sperling draws a much-needed land here that's going to allow him to take one of 2 lines. He can also attack with both specters if he wants, and he can get in there with one of them.
Well, yeah.
And he's going to do that first, block 1, and this is a key. Let's see what he ends up revealing. A pack rat. Apparently a draft pack rat as well. You see this. It must be nice to be Paul Rietzl. But Sperling has turned 2 pack rat, but has essentially ignored it. He is just sat there on the table for the rest of the time, and he's going to play out a desecration
I feel like
demon.
that pack rat's probably just going to get sacrificed to tap a desecration demon
Jeez.
pretty soon.
Interesting. It's an important card in the mirror match, but it hasn't played a huge role here, even though he had an unanswered one on turn 2.
Mind, by the way, Paul is at 11 right now for his devotion. If he plays a Gray Merchant next turn.
Matt is.
I'm sorry, Matt is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Paul's not that far behind.
No, he's not. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's at 9, right?
Yeah.
And then he plays the merchant, bumps him up to 11.
For Matt.
Yeah, for Matt, and that could. I mean, if he can get in for a few more damage, that could just finish off Rietzl. So Rietzl's in the tank here. He has Erebos, God of the Dead, so he has a way to get ahead on cards if the game were to go really long. But right now, it's more of a mana question than anything. Because he doesn't want to dump too much mana into drawing cards. He needs to start affecting the board. His 3rd Mutavault.
So is he considering activating his Mutavault, sacrificing it, tapping? Yep.
Tap your
Matt's desecration demon.
And my demon's on the stack.
And then he gets to.
You said it, PDM. Pack rat down. And really, interestingly, Desecration Demon has become the key card.
Does he attack with Night Veil Spectre here and try to get? Nope. He's gonna.
Yeah, I think he just doesn't want to give up 2 cards on the back swing. Thinking about it though.
And if he hits a Gray Merchant, we've seen it happen.
I've heard about it. I will be watching that one again though.
Keeps adding it up. Activates his 2 Mutavaults and just swings in with everybody.
Paul Rietzl is the best in the world at this kind of thing, you know, just grinding out the smallest. This is how he wins with all of those Boros decks, is he can see
Matt
lines.
Sperling is at 1. He can't gain life.
Clear my attack. I won't attack anything of yours.
He has 2 shots. He has 2 shots at maybe a Gray Merchant off the top, but I don't even think that'll do it.
So Mutavault down to tap down Matt Sperling's Demon. And Matt's doing some math here, but Paul he's basically just been the aggressor here.
So he does it. He does attack with the 2.
So put the first one with Pack Rat. Second one.
There's a Gray Merchant.
And
There's a whip.
but doesn't do much here. Here's a merchant though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
1.
Wow!
But Matthew can't gain any life.
Can't gain life. They're both at 1.
He reminds him of Erebos. He points to it.
Well, I guess I couldn't have won anyways. Yeah. You can play Demon and start sacrificing your board, but it doesn't go very well. Yeah, you win.
Wow.
That's the game. Holy cow.
That's going to do
Erebos'
it.
ability
Yeah,
is just
he didn't see it.
pivotal there. Yeah.
He didn't see it. You know, he
It's been
said,
a long weekend.
It has. Yeah. I mean, it happens. And Erebos' ability, just being a static ability, isn't one that, like, it doesn't get triggered. It doesn't get brought to your attention very often.
Sure.
And there's so many decks in the format that just don't gain life ever that it's like you just ignore that. It's also only a one of in the deck, so it's not like something that pops up that often. But That's a rough one for Sperling.
Yeah. There you see
As
Sperling
his whole
looking
line
over.
was around that.
Well, you can see him looking at his life totals and probably replaying parts of the game in his head. And
Yeah,
thinking about what could I have done differently there. It was 1 point.
Yeah, and Rietzl said, he's like, well, it's too late, but if you would have played your demon, you can start sacking your board. He's like, but it doesn't end well for you, just because Paul Rietzl drew like 3 Mutavaults there and has just a lot of food for demons. So, all right, so Rietzl up a game here. Rietzl's ranked number 20 on the top 25 pro rankings, and if he can pick up a top 8 or a strong finish here, he could even bump himself up further.
If you look all the way back down the end of that table, you see Todd Anderson watching, waiting to see, who's joining me in the top 8.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I couldn't see him.
There you get a look at Paul Rietzl. He's in good shape to join him right now, up 1 game. Gold Pro.
Got that first game out of the way. Huge in a mirror because, I mean, they're going to have basically identical post-board plans, and you're just like, nothing's going to change. So you're just starting off with only needing to win one where your opponent needs to win 2. It's huge upside for Paul here.
Former Pro Tour champion.
Aren't you just
these
always
guys-
a
these
Pro Tour
guys-
champion if you win?
Well,
one?
yeah, that's true. What have you done for me lately?
I do see Todd Anderson back there.
Yeah. He's just staring out at the audience saying, I'm in the top 8 again.
With the same deck, too.
Yeah. Matt Sperling and Paul Rietzl, by the way, won a Grand Prix together, right?
They did, yeah, with David Williams.
Yeah. Grand Prix San Jose, the staggeringly large team Grand Prix.
Team limited Grand Prix, yeah.
Happens to be the only creature that we have.
That was a sweet event.
So we already know Sam Black, Joseph Nix, Andrew Hansen, Todd Anderson, Owen Turtwald, Valentin Mackel, all going into the top 8. So a couple of people all repeating top 8s this season. Sam Black, just every major since the Pro Tour. Todd Anderson, his 2nd Grand Prix in a row.
It was Louisville. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if he played in DC or not.
Oh, yeah. Second
standard in a row.
Right.
Valentin Mackel, coming off top 8 in Valencia.
That's right.
Top 4, actually.
Exactly.
So adding to his pro points, we've seen a fair amount of him throughout this weekend.
I love it when we see
playing
players
mono
like
blue
that.
devotion.
He is, yeah.
The rest of your hand was pretty good. It's better
So
than
number of players stringing together impressive seasons. Maximizing their 5 GPs towards their year-end point totals. Working their way
I
up
like
the
seeing
big,
that.
Working their way up the big board.
Yeah. It is a big board too. Picking up a lot of GP high finish, it will put a pretty big dent in it.
I gave you back a great merchant, right?
What are you gonna see, like Owen Turtwald and Sam Black 1 and 2 next week?
But beating him,
One of those 5 great
Matt
merchants.
Sperling just says,
Well,
"Give me
game
back
loss.
that gray
I win,
merchant."
that works for
Right? They're probably using the same sleeve.
Same sleeve, same.
So, could get a little awkward here, but when somebody draws their 5th gray merchant, that's when things get a little weird.
Is that what would happen? We both get a game loss?
Well,
They're talking about it right now.
That's one of the reasons.
Why do I have you?
Pile shuffling's not the most
You
efficient
have everything.
He's counting.
randomization.
Yeah.
But what you're doing when you do that is you're actually counting it out to make sure you haven't left a card in somebody's deck or kept a card from somebody's deck in a case where you both have similar sleeves. It's just really good operationally to always make sure you pile out that way, and then it comes out to 40 or 60, or in the case of John Becker, 41.
Yeah. Unless you're in double Becker mode. All right. Taking a look at our opener here for Matt Sperling.
Go back to 20. Any effects on turn?
Okay, let's do it. Let's see.
And he has a Thoughtseize turn 1. Both players have kept, so let's take a look at Paul Rietzl's hand. He's got a Night Veil Spectre, an Ultimate Price, a Swamp, a Thoughtseize of his own.
Is that 2 thought seizes or just?
That is just 1
that's
Thoughtseize,
a Dark
Gray
Betrayal.
Merchant, and a Dark Betrayal. Yeah, but interestingly,
Just 1 land?
single Swamp here. So
Wow.
he's really leaning on his hand to get a lot of value out of Thoughtseize, and then to be able to kill something relevant with Dark
Do you
Betrayal.
take thought seize here?
It depends on my hand. I haven't got to look at Matt's. There's definitely a world in which I take Thoughtseize here. You could also take Pack Rat, as it's one of the kind of cards where if he just goes like land, and you don't have an answer. Well, actually, he does. I see a Dark Betrayal in his hand, but
Get a Dark Betrayal, he's got a Devour Flesh.
so he's got an answer for Pack Rat, at least an early Pack Rat,
He
and he
doesn't
doesn't.
have any questions in his hand.
Yeah, that's an issue.
I think he might have.
Or actually, no, he's got a Night Veil Spectre there.
Oh, he does, okay.
Yeah, that's a pretty
But he takes the thought
pretty
seize.
nice question. Yeah, takes the Thoughtseize. Pass turn. Is this a land? It is.
But play the other. I guess he only plays the same swamp anyway.
Yep.
You know,
That's
copies
why
of the
you
same
do
art.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not easy.
Ooh, thought sees you again.
What'd you draw?
And he sees that he drew the swamp. That's the only thing that changed here.
And Paul, helpful, ever
Yeah,
helpful. Paul's
yeah,
like
that
this
swamp,
one.
yeah.
I do that swamp.
Take Dark Betrayal.
All right, Dark Betrayal is going to hit the bin here, leaving him with a reasonable hand, though. He can play a pack rat, but he knows that his opponent is going to have an answer for it here. He draws another Night Veil Spectre,
to
and he just runs a pack rat that's going to get betrayed, pass a turn back, and whoops, did it wrong. There we go. Let's flip that around. All right, so really good start here
Oh, and
for
then
Paul
a Mutavault, no third black source.
Yeah, no third black source, but Matt Sperling has a really nice opener here. And remember, he's also sitting there with a Devour Flesh in hand to take care of either the Mutavault, which he'd be fine with because he knows that there's no more lands for Rietzl, or a big threat. He's going to start getting big advantage now off of Night
Doesn't
Veil
want to
Spectre
play a
as
land
well.
first because he might just get a land off of Paul's deck.
Wow, another Devour Flesh too. This is where you want to play a demon, but he doesn't have it. Passes a turn, and it's a second Gray Merchant. Wow, he's going to attack it. I think you go for it here, right? Yeah, run it out there, because you're not guaranteed that that Night Veil Spectre is going to live very long anyway. And that's going to knock Rietzl back down to 2 lands, and he's going to stay there as he doesn't have a land drop for the turn. Is this a land? It is. Hey, that's different artwork, actually. So another Night Veil Spectre, and Matt Sperling looks to be firmly in the driver's seat here in Game 2.
Looks like a scry land here.
Yeah.
Don't keep it on top, whatever it is.
He kept it on top, but you got to figure it's something that he doesn't want.
Yeah.
Remember, those Night Veil Spectres are going to eat that card up anyway. Probably a land.
14. Trigger twice. 5.
It was a land, and another land. So Sperling's drawn all of Paul Rietzl's lands here.
Go.
Drinking
Exactly now, right?
the milkshake, and things are looking like a Game 3 could be in the books in the future for
it
us.
seems
Here.
imminent.
Go.
Rietzl passes a turn with 3 mana, and he's going to fire off
Doesn't let him
Hero's
get.
Downfall on
Doesn't
his
let him
upkeep.
get that swamp.
Draw for my turn.
Right, so even though Rietzl is way ahead, and he is way ahead, he does still need to find, you know, that closer, the big punch card to finish things off.
Yeah, he's been threat light.
He has. He's been grinding it up and doing exactly. Wow, he's going to play 2 Thoughtseize this turn if he wants to. So ultimate price, a couple of merchants and a couple of Night Veil
You take
Spectres.
the Night Veil Spectres here, right?
Yeah,
That results.
absolutely.
Cycle.
That ultimate price doesn't hit Mutavault or Night Veil Spectre, so it's not really doing much at all. And he can just strip him of both of his Spectres and keep his Spectre alive.
Chase. Minus.
Sperling's thinking about it, though. I mean, he does have a Devour Flesh in hand that he can get value from as well.
Spectre.
But that'll also work against Grey Merchant.
Thank you, brother.
What did he end up taking?
He took one of the Spectres with it. He hasn't played the other Thoughtseize yet. He does have a Devour Flesh, so he could be thinking like, well, if he bricks on lands, he'll just play the Spectre and I can just get it. But it also works against Grey Merchant just as well.
Plays a scry land and gets.
Yeah, and he takes the other Spectre. All right, so he has really put Paul in a horrible position. 2 mana away from either of those merchants, plus a dead removal spell. He draws Erebos, passes a turn back. And there it is. That was kind of the card that we were waiting for, just to put it over the top. He drew Underworld Connections, which is just going to bury Paul Rietzl. I mean, he's already way behind.
No blocks.
Connections.
I have 50.
Draw a card.
Connections, draw a card.
Oh,
You
thank you.
missed the Thoughtseize, the second
I missed
Thoughtseize.
Thoughtseize?
You missed the second Thoughtseize.
I thought you used twice last turn. Yeah. I'm at 12 now. I'm at 11. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Just syncing up life totals here.
Yeah.
Attack for
Trigger
4.
twice. I'm sorry. Trigger once.
Another land off the top. Matt Sperling has just stolen every single land, and there's another
He
Mutavault.
plays the Mutavault instead.
That's lethal.
Yep.
Mutavault is lethal, and that's going to do it. As it doesn't look like Rietzl has any plays because Erebos isn't going to do anything here. And that's it. So we're going to get a game 3 here between Matt Sperling and Paul Rietzl to determine who makes it into the top 8 and who has to root for the other guy in the top 8. And they will.
Oh,
Close
of course.
Right.
Just confirm 16.
It's got to be bittersweet if you lose to your good friend, because on one hand you're going to hear about it forever, but on the other hand you do feel kind of good that, like, you know, your friend's having some success.
Top 8 and bragging rights.
Yeah. Oh,
The
geez.
time I knocked you out of the
Not
top
necessarily
8.
in that order.
Yeah.
If your friends are anything like mine.
It's not quite a shrine to Nyx when describing your friends.
Correct.
List if you need to.
Sounds like.
75 per mirror. 59.
See, it looks like a pretty convoluted board going on in the back.
I see a lot of
I see a
permanents.
lot of permanents in play.
Never mind. You have 60? Yeah. Well, I'm gonna shuffle right now. I have 2 stuck together still. Let's see.
They've got to mix up with how many cards are in. I heard Sperling say, wait, you have 60? Because Sperling had a number other than 60, so we're watching this.
Interestingly, you can have more than 60.
You can.
You can just bring a card in from your sideboard now and play 61 cards on a 14-card sideboard if you want, right?
You can.
I still want one of his Mutavaults?
It's just weird.
Matt got one of Paul's.
I like it.
60. And
Okay.
can you count 4 Mutavaults? You make.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure there's no harm in making sure you have 4.
Yeah.
All right. It looks like the decks are correct, although unfortunately they're going to count their Mutavaults just to make sure. And this is what happens when you use the same sleeves, I suppose.
Good thing the camera caught it.
I'm good. I got 6 Mutavaults. I'm fine.
We almost had to go to the instant replay on the shuffles there just to. Rashad says no. Against the rules.
Right now.
I was there at the event where they had to make that rule for
You were at 21.
Yes, you were. I was watching that from home.
So 21
Japanese
plus
nationals?
9, you're at 30.
Oh, I thought you meant.
You guys
what
are-
was it?
you
There
guys
was
are
one more
21
recent than that.
plus
Yeah,
3,
no,
so you're
Japanese
at 20.
Nationals was the one.
It was
that-
with Finkel, the one that I was
Oh,
thinking
okay.
of. And he's like, just go to the camera.
Yeah,
And
no,
we're like, yeah, that's a little harder than it turns out.
yeah. No, Japanese Nationals. It was actually.
What were you at Japanese Nationals?
I used to cover Japanese Nationals every year.
What? Oh.
Yeah. And there was a
The more
Japanese
you know.
crew filming, and there was a misplay, and someone was crowned Japanese national champion.
Uh-huh.
It was the guy who won Worlds. Can't think of his name all of a sudden. Yeah,
Ianaga?
Ianaga.
Junior Ianaga?
Yeah, he was briefly crowned Japanese national champion, and then they were like, "Oh, wait a minute, there was a mistake. He had a creature. He had a Mog Fanatic equipped with Sword of Fire and Ice, and he sacrificed it to target itself."
Okay, you can't
Right, or
do
something like that.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to do that. So it wasn't a Mug Fanatic. It was the other one, the one that could only target a creature. And he sacrificed it to target itself, and he couldn't do that. And so they were like, well, we can completely recreate graveyard, hand, board state. And Ianaga's like, I don't want to be the champion if it's not legitimate. And they went back and replayed from that, and then Makihito Mahara became the Japanese national champion.
That's got to be one of the
I think it was
biggest
Mahara.
slow
Mahara
rolls
wasn't that
ever,
top 8, but yeah,
too.
someone else other than Ianaga became the champion.
All right, one more game to go here for Paul Rietzl versus Matt Sperling, and the winner's going to be in the top 8. The loser is going to be cheering on their friend in the top 8.
Look at the gloating going on back there. You know, like the Sam Black and Owen and Todd. Like, oh, we're over the top 8 here.
Uh-huh.
We're all locked up. He was like, it's like I'm in the top 8. Just ignore
Yeah.
me.
Owen's like, this is number 14 for me, guys. Shahar's like, I have 3 wins.
Owen's like, shut up.
Fun table. Yeah. So, hard to predict a winner here since it's a full-on mirror match. Rietzl's going to be on the play. It's a thing.
Yeah. Gets to lead with Thoughtseize and take Thoughtseize.
Yeah, we saw that in game 2. opening hands are
It
going
was,
to be
it was an
super
interesting hand
critical
for Paul
here.
to keep there.
What's
Paul,
that?
Paul's talked about. There was someone posted a one land hand on Twitter about for a limited match. And
Yeah, I saw that.
Paul's like, I gotta tell you, I keep a one lander a lot of the time.
He's crazy.
I mean, it works for him.
Yeah,
I mean, it
he's
didn't work
also-
there, but it works for him.
Yeah. I mean, I could see the reasoning behind his keep there. He had Thoughtseize and Dark Betrayal, so he could kill like
and
a pack rat.
and 2 turns to draw that land and not miss a beat.
Right. Unfortunately, Matt Sperling hit like 5 lands with his Night Veil Specters,
Yeah.
and Sperling just kept drawing non-lands. All right, looks like we're about ready to present here, and let's bring you guys Game 3 here from Albuquerque. 15th round of Swiss.
Yeah,
You'll
we
see
didn't,
it.
we didn't think we'd have a lot of drama in this 15th round. It was
Yeah.
looking a lot like a clean cut.
And we've got big drama. Our back table as well. Sam Pardee is playing against Corey Burkhart. They're also playing for top 8 too. So if this one finishes in time, we're going to bring you the end of that one.
The Esper versus Blue Devotion matchup.
Blue Devotion we've seen everywhere here this weekend. Esper
It was,
less
the most
so
played deck on
on the metagame breakdown.
yeah. On day 2, it was the
The one-
most played deck. We had 21 mono blue devotions.
Wow.
And then if you throw in Esper Devotion, we had actually 23 people playing that.
Playing Esper.
Oh, there you take a look at the slide right up there.
Yeah, and so
23 people playing like that core of
yes.
Thassa, Master of Waves, Night Veil Spectre.
I see. Yeah, and and we've seen a ton of Esper here, but it hasn't been rising to the top.
Yeah. But
All right,
there's
here we
an
go.
Esper.
We're underway. Turn 1, Duress You. Wow. Looks like a one-lander for Sperling here also.
Who does that?
He's got Swamp, Devourflesh, Pack Rat, Thoughtseize, Pack Rat, 2 Night Veil Specters. Wow, so both players keeping one-landers.
So what are you going to take here? Do you
I mean,
take,
you
take the,
said it,
do you take
Thoughtseize
the
or
Thoughtseize again?
Thoughtseize. I mean, again, it just really depends on what's in Paul's hand. If he
I
has
mean,
answers
Paul
for...
Paul has additional lands and removal spells.
Okay.
So he's not that worried about the pack rat immediately. Yes.
Then
he
you
does-
take the Thoughtseize,
He does take
absolutely.
the Thoughtseize.
Yeah. All right, a non-land draw for Rietzl. This could get awkward very quickly. Excuse me, for Matt Sperling. Thanks, BDM. All right, but no pressure here from Rietzl. Okay,
No,
there
he's
it
ju-
is.
He's just sitting back on Ultimate Price. He's sitting back on Devour Flesh.
Okay, both of which are going to take care of a turn 2 pack rat here from Sperling if he wants to run it out there, and he does. And devour it.
It's like, gain a life.
Okay. So Sperling finding that land right there was huge. But he's not out of the woods yet. If he finds another one on next turn, he's going to be in pretty sweet position. A tap land here for Paul Rietzl. Wow, and he does. He just draws another swamp. It's that easy, BDM. Now he can play Spectre, and just start grinding out advantage on Paul Rietzl unless Paul can deal with these
I think,
Spectres.
well, Paul has his own Spectre.
Okay, so those are going to be at a bit of a standoff unless Sperling has a removal spell.
He does have a Devour
Wow,
Flesh.
it must be nice. Draws another land off the top. Now he can play Underworld Connections and activate it. He can play a Night Veil Spectre if he wants. He can play a Devour Flesh to get rid of his opponent's Night Veil Spectre.
And that's what he's going to do.
He does just
He's
that.
not going to play a land. He's going to see what he gets off of Paul's deck. He does get a Swamp.
He gets the Tilt Swamp,
Yeah, and a Pack Rat.
and he gets to play a pack right here. I mean, he had the other Swamp anyway, but of course, Rietzl doesn't know that. Wow, so Matt Sperling keeps a one-lander, but is getting there in a big way. All right, but that's a good one. Ultimate Price takes down Pack Rat, and a follow-up for Paul Rietzl is going to be nice here. I see that there's a Duress, and he's going to kick it off with the Duress, show him the other Night Veil Spectre.
But Sperling has a boot for Paul's throat here in Underworld Connections.
He does, and it just gets out of hand so quickly, and there it is. Underworld Connections go, and Sperling is in the driver's seat to make the top 8 of this event thanks to that Underworld Connections. It's going to take a while, though. Paul's going to have a lot of time to find it. We saw it in the first game that Sperling had what looked like a really nice draw, and Rietzl just said, well, I'm just going to attack you a bunch, and ended up killing him. So second Night Veil Spectre here for Paul Rietzl. He is
Sperling's
surveying the
card
board
here,
state. He
though.
has one unknown
Sperling
card
gets to
in
draw
hand.
3 cards, by the time his next turn, ends.
And he draws an Erebos. That could come in handy but he's also got Gray Merchant in his hand, so he might want to run that out there first.
Gets his third card.
Play a land for the turn.
So congratulations to Sam Pardee,
Grand Prix
a
champion.
Grand Prix champion already. He's going back
Wow.
into another top 8.
Which means our Costanza didn't work, by the way.
No, our Costanza did not work. We got double Costanza.
We did. Mutavault here for Paul Rietzl.
But just
Again,
burying
every
him in card
single
advantage.
turn, drawing at least 2 cards, and Matt Sperling. You know, the problem here, of course, is that the mono black deck has no way to deal with Underworld connections. It just sits there,
there's an Erebos.
and he does play Erebos, God of the Dead here.
God is online.
So Matt Sperling has 6, 7. He can have up to 9, 10, 11 devotion here if he wants, and he does get to gain life. But more importantly, he gets to take life away from Paul Rietzl, and he can just start spending resources however he wants now. Because now he is so far ahead with both the God being active and on top of it Night Vale Specters hitting in conjunction with Underworld connections. It is getting to be a complete beating here.
There's a Pack Rat and a Scryland.
Remember when he had a 1-lander?
Yeah,
That worked out.
Scry. See what's coming.
Puts it back on top. He can draw it right now. Play a Pack Rat. Say go, and this could be it right here.
I don't see what it could be that would make it not it.
Agree.
I'm at 16 or 12. I don't think I'm gonna win.
He's at 12.
Is there result in?
Yes.
So we should just draw, then you'll get 9. Or if you jump me and break, you'll get 8. But like, I think it's best if you like take a chance on like. I mean, I won't be heartbroken if you like jump me and break it or whatever, and like then you'll get 9 for sure.
I think
But
they're.
I could definitely jump. I mean, you could definitely get screwed by tiebreakers. I mean, I like almost conceded before the match because like you're getting like platinum. So like, I think we should just draw. All right, I know. It's accepted.
So right now, Matt Sperling's offering a draw.
Whatever you want to do, you have me at your mercy. You fill out the slip however you want to fill it out, and I'll sign it. Can I have my cards back though? Am I allowed to look at a picture of standings on my phone? If I show it to him, open notes.
We need to do that off camera.
What?
We can't do that on camera.
He might board up.
If you want to
Sure,
do that,
can I talk to Toby? Can I talk to
Yeah.
Toby?
Yeah.
Before we decide how the game ends.
So Sperling has
Unfortunately, this is
he's offered a draw.
call. I can't make this.
Yeah,
call.
understood.
Tentative draw.
Yeah, so he wants to ask Toby if he's allowed to look at the standings because there are rules about when and how long you can look at
Right.
them. So he's going to call that over. What Paul Rietzl said is he said, "You fill out the match slip,
And I'll
I'll
sign,
sign it." Yeah, like he's just like, "Look, you've got the win here."
You're at 16, right? I have a picture of standings on my phone. Am I allowed to look at that image during a game?
You are allowed to do it publicly, so yes.
But
So I have to be able to see it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I can look at it.
And you need to do it quickly,
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have priority.
regardless.
So I'm still thinking.
Paul Rietzl's gone into troll mode a little bit here. He says he has priority, therefore Matt Sperling's not allowed to look at the standings while Rietzl has priority. So what we have here is Matt Sperling has
Why don't we just get this done quickly?
and may put 2-1.
I would like to offer intentional draw.
All right, so that's going to do it. These guys are going to take their chances with the tiebreakers and see what happens here.
But that's